Welcome into OutKick the show. I'm your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I hope all of you are having fantastic Fridays wherever you may be across this great country or around the world. I'm going to be back with you on Wednesday and Thursday of next week, and then I'm headed to the beach. I'm going to be up in D.C. doing some events on Monday and Tuesday, so I'll be out of pocket then. And then it's going to almost be Memorial Day weekend, and I'm headed down to the beach. I'll still do Clay and Buck radio, but just a little bit of housekeeping if you wonder where I might be. All right, let's dive right into absolute bedlam this morning. PGA Tour Championship taking place at Valhalla up in Louisville. Best golfer in the world right now, Scottie Scheffler, was arrested while trying to make his way into the golf clubhouse area. Right now, Scheffler has responded to that. He is through. Guys, you can correct me if this round ends at some point while I'm on air. But right now, Scheffler has shot a -5, second best among the top contenders, and he is 2 shots off the lead. Shot a 67 yesterday, -5 through 16 as we speak. He has moved up 10 spots on the leaderboard, despite the fact that he was arrested this morning for what seems to be a total misunderstanding about who he was, who a police officer was. I'm not going to dive into all of the super specific details because it still remains to be seen, some of them, exactly what happened. But I can't imagine that these charges are not going to end up dropped against Scottie Scheffler based on what seems to be video evidence of what transpired. And what I would say is overly aggressive policing in the wake of an incident that led to a individual dying this morning, which you can understand why it might have put the Louisville police on high notice. The pedestrian, I believe it was, killed early this morning. There's all sorts of traffic issues. Scottie Scheffler is trying to get in and doesn't appear to be recognized, despite the fact that he's driving in a PGA-provided vehicle and had, according to his attorney, had already been given the go-ahead to drive on in by another police officer before this whole incident arose. So that ended up being a monster story all over the internet this morning and throughout the day, and many of the responses have been really funny, frankly, and I wanted to hit a couple of them. I shared this from Reed Ferguson, who is a long snapper for the Buffalo Bills. He tweeted, "When people ask me what social media app is my favorite, I'm just going to show them this screenshot." Can't Guard Jake says, "Imagine getting thrown in the drunk tank last night after hitting the bars in Louisville, and you wake up to see Scottie Scheffler is your cellmate." I mean, amazing to think about. Again, he got his mugshot taken, all of this. Robert Griffin III tweeted, "Never seen anything like this Scottie Scheffler situation in golf before or really in any sport." And Jimmy Trina, who I believe is at SI, responded, "Tiger Woods' wife beat him up with a golf club on Thanksgiving after she went through his phone and found text from a mistress while he was passed out from Ambien, and then he drove into a fire hydrant." All of that happened. But that was his response to RG3's tweet. KJ says, you can go see this. "Can't believe Scottie tried that in a small town." Very funny. And on through with all of the craziness as people react to that story. So, again, Scottie Scheffler, -5 through 16. We'll see exactly how he manages to finish. If there are any other super funny memes that I should share throughout the course of today's show, picture of Red from Shawshank Redemption sitting next to the character that was played, Andy Dufresne. Couldn't remember his name for a minute. It's a picture of the two of them from Shawshank, and it said, I'm going to tell my grandkids this was Scottie Scheffler and Tiger Woods, which is really, really funny, of course. And there are many others. I shared some of them. Somebody put a mash together, a mixtape together. I don't even know what you call it, a mashup of Scottie Scheffler walking up to the tee with 50 Cent blaring in the background, which was pretty incredible. Let me scroll through and see what other memes I shared earlier in the day. Some guys showed up on the golf course in already T-shirts that they had made of Scottie Scheffler and his mugshot. And then those guys were obviously hugely well received. Somebody did the mix of Scottie Scheffler as Prison Mike from The Office. If you remember Prison Mike from, I can't stop laughing about it. Prison Mike from The Office. Here's what Scottie Scheffler said on Instagram right about time he teed off on his Instagram story. Let me go ahead and read this. This morning, I was proceeding as directed by police officers. It was a very chaotic situation, understandably so, considering the tragic incident that had occurred earlier, and there was a big misunderstanding of what I thought I was being asked to do. I never intended to disregard any of the instructions. I'm hopeful to put this to the side and focus on golf today. Of course, all of us involved in the tournament express our deepest sympathies to the family of the man who passed away in the earlier accident this morning. It truly puts everything into perspective. There are also some more memes. Louisville police officers posing in front of a table with the seized goods. You see these photos a lot of police officers posing with their seized goods, and someone has put in an entire golf bag and all of the golf clubs. That is pretty great. Sean Merriman, a friend of mine, used the Drake meme, arresting gang members, no. Arresting pro golfers, yes. Corked Bats, a more exclusive club than Augusta National, with Scottie Scheffler's mugshot alongside of Tiger Woods and John Daly's mugshots. I shared, which got everybody crazy. This is true. If Scottie Scheffler were black, the takes on this site from sports media would be so molten lava hot, you wouldn't be even able to hold your phone. Can you imagine Jemele Hill? This would have been Jemele Hill's Super Bowl. The fact that she is not allowed to opine on a black golfer being arrested trying to arrive at the PGA really is like if Michael Jordan had never picked up a basketball. That's how devastating this overall is to Jemele Hill's opportunities. Anyway, congratulations to Twitter for having an incredible time with this. And I'm rooting for Scottie Scheffler to come back and actually win the tournament, because can you imagine if he actually did that? All right. Harrison Butker. Yesterday and the day before story was Harrison Butker. Scottie Scheffler getting arrested dialed down some of the attention on Harrison Butker. So let me weigh in on a bunch of different impacts. First, super positive. OutKick is reporting, and I knew it was close, that Harrison Butker's jersey has sold out in every women's jersey size. Wow. That is, I think, a testament to how much demand there is for truth in the United States. Many people deciding to rally around Harrison Butker for his comments crazily praising women who stay home and do a great job raising children. I can't believe this is considered controversial. He broke down nearly in tears praising his wife about it. So the jersey is sold out, according to OutKick, in all women's sizes. So far, I haven't seen any player come out and rip Scottie Scheffler at all. As I pointed out a couple of days ago, that's because most multimillionaire athletes have a wife who stays home with their children. Being able to have one parent stay home while the other parent makes a large living is actually an incredible luxury. And I've said this before, my wife, I feel very fortunate, super smart. She would say smarter than me. Lots of people would agree with that. Graduated from Vanderbilt Law School. That's where I met her. She now, when the boys were young, was eventually able to stay home with the kids. And I talked about that experience in our life and how it made our marriage, and I've written and talked about this before, and our child rearing, I think, not a little bit better, like 1,000% better. I think in general, for anyone out there, especially if you have multiple young children, having one parent whose primary focus is able to be on the children is incredibly beneficial for the kids, my opinion. And it can be a man, by the way. If a woman out there is making $1 million and or 500,000 or several hundred thousand, whatever requires your family's expenses to be covered, depending on where you live, it might be $75,000 or $80,000. Might be 50. I don't know. Whatever that dollar figure is that you need to be able to get to allow your family to be taken care of by one earner. It doesn't have to be a woman who stays home. It can be a guy. A lot of women out there, incredibly accomplished, very high earning. I think kids would benefit from having either parent stay home full time and focus on them. But I didn't see this as being remotely controversial. Chris Jones, defensive lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs, supported Butker publicly. So did Cole Beasley. And I want to give her credit, so did Gracie Hunt, the daughter, one of the daughters of the owners of the Kansas City Chiefs. She happened to be on Fox and Friends this morning playing paddleball, holding a paddleball in her hand, dressed for paddleball or tennis. And I thought she did a phenomenal job answering a question probably that she wasn't anticipating getting about herself and how she should respond. And look, I don't think anybody should feel personally attacked by this. If you don't want to have kids and you are a woman and you are 100% focused on your career, there's nothing wrong with that. You aren't being personally attacked here. Your anecdotal life experience, you may be wildly happy and never want to have kids. That's fine. The data reflects that the happiest people, women, in America are married women with kids. That is where the majority of women gain their satisfaction. Pointing that out, there's nothing wrong with it. Harrison Butker didn't also say you couldn't be a doctor or you couldn't be a lawyer or you couldn't have a PhD. My wife's a lawyer. My sister has a PhD. Between the two of them, they have 6 kids. I don't think that they should not be able to have full achievement in both their career and life. My mom worked for most of my life full time. From the time I was 7 until I graduated from high school, she went back to school back to work when my sister went into kindergarten. I'm surrounded by very accomplished women. I think a lot of very accomplished women would still say the thing that they're most proud of is their kids. Whether you love or hate me, I'd like to think I'm pretty accomplished. I founded a sports media site that's one of the most read and consumed in America today, OutKick.com, which you can see over my shoulder. I'm the co-host of either the first or second biggest radio show in the entire nation with 500 AM FM affiliates. I did a daily Fox Sports television show for 4 years. I've written multiple best-selling books. I've got a law degree. I've got an MFA, double graduate degrees from Vanderbilt. Do you know what I'm most proud of? My 3 boys. This morning, I started off my day by going to the 3rd grade talent show to watch my son do his talent. He was doing stand-up comedy. He was really funny. I think he did a great job with it. I'm more proud of my 3 kids than anything that I have achieved on a professional level. And again, I just ran through some of them. I think for most people, you would say, yeah, the guy's had a lot of success in life. My wife has had a lot of success in life. I think if she were sitting here right now, she would say the thing that she's most proud of is how our kids have turned out so far in raising them as well. I don't think that's an indictment of other achievement. I think it's just a call to understanding what really is the most important in life. So I would point all of that out. I thought Gracie Hunt did a great job talking about the fact that she felt very fortunate that her family had the resources to allow her mom to stay home. Again, this is an aspirational goal for many families out there. that one day you could be in good enough financial condition that a mom or a dad could stay home with kids. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. Flip side, I can't believe it took 8 years for this video to come out. That certainly is criminal behavior. Diddy should be prosecuted for it. I don't know what the statutes of limitations are in Los Angeles. I imagine there'll be a lot of articles written about this. But this ties into a lot of the allegations that are out there about Diddy right now. And so I don't see any way that he's not going to be charged. These allegations appear to be that were made by, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, Kimora Lee Simmons, I believe, is the woman that is being beaten on that video that you showed, that we showed you. She was the girlfriend at the time, I believe that's her name, of Sean Diddy Combs. And I mean, honestly, I don't know what else he may have done, but I do think it's interesting, and I want you guys all to think about this and follow it. How will the media coverage of Diddy actually beating his girlfriend, how will that compare to the way that Harrison Butker was covered for praising stay-at-home moms? Who will get criticized more? Harrison Butker in terms of total media attention. Harrison Butker for, Cassie Ventura is the woman that is alleged to be in this video. Cassie Ventura. Is Kimora Lee Simmons somebody else's wife? I don't know. Apologies. Cassie Ventura is the woman that is alleged to have been in this video, according to the OutKick team behind the scenes. That's the girlfriend that Sean Diddy had back in 2016. Point on this, how much condemnation will the media rain down on Diddy for what clearly appears to be awful public assault on his girlfriend compared to the media condemnation that rained down on Harrison Butker for saying, hey, stay-at-home moms are really incredibly desired and should be praised, and I'm going to cry about this, which is actually more controversial. I would bet to you that Harrison Butker is going to be more discussed. And I would submit this is part and parcel of the world in which we've created, where we spend more time attacking words and opinions than we do actually attacking true acts of violence. I've seen this happen in the world of sports for a long time. I told you, interestingly, earlier this week, I said, watch, Harrison Butker is going to get attacked more for sharing this opinion on men, women, and his views on life than he would if he were accused of attacking a woman. And I don't think there's any doubt that will end up being the case, that Butker is going to be more criticized on the left in this country than Diddy is, which is just wild to think about. Okay, a couple of other stories that are out there. Yesterday was a disaster for the Michael Cohen testimony, that the cross-examination that occurred. It was pure evisceration of Michael Cohen, definite proof that he is a liar, and to me shows that there is absolutely no way, in my opinion, for a jury to convict Donald Trump if they're actually applying the beyond a reasonable doubt standard. And we talked about this. I'd encourage you to go listen to it on Clay and Buck. We talked about this with Andy McCarthy at the top of the second hour of today's radio show. Andy McCarthy told us that he thought there were multiple jurors now that would refuse to convict. But he agreed with me, when this trial ends, there will be a motion put forward by Trump's attorneys asking basically for a directed verdict. In other words, saying no reason, I'm paraphrasing, no reasonable jury could convict here because there hasn't been a crime proven. I suspect that Judge Merchan will decline to take that motion, to endorse that motion and to toss the case, he should. He should have already declared a mistrial after the Stormy Daniels case. Michael Cohen was a disaster. He's a proven liar. But worse than that, he can't even testify directly that a crime occurred based on his own testimony. If that's not beyond a reasonable doubt, not standing and if that's not rising to reasonable doubt, I don't know what is. Now, Trump still might get convicted because there's so many people in New York City that don't like him because of his politics. But I believe, regardless of who the defendant is here, this should be a not guilty verdict. If you had Joe Biden on trial for the exact same charges in New York City, I would say, based on the evidence, that he should be not guilty. If Mitt Romney were on trial, if Barack Obama were on trial, the evidence here has not proven that there was any crime, and I think it has not proven it by not by a fact finder determination, but by a legal determination. General rule: judges decide issues of law, juries decide issues of fact. I think by law, this is not a crime, and I hope that there are one or more jurors on this case who will be willing to stand up for the truth and say Trump is innocent. You may have heard me on the show earlier. We had a caller from Kansas, and he said that he thinks Trump's going to be acquitted. That is, all of the jurors, all 12 of them, are going to say not guilty. I don't believe that's what should happen. I don't believe this New York City jury is going to be willing to do that because too many of them already hate Trump and decided that he was guilty before this trial started. But my goodness, I told that caller, I said, if you're right, I will travel to Kansas and I will take you out for a steak dinner in your town. If he ends up being right, I'll do that. I do think this is going to be a mistrial, a hung jury, because I don't think there's going to be 12 jurors that are willing to say not guilty. We'll see. That process could start as soon as next week. And what should happen is Judge Merchan should say, by law, they haven't proven their case. I'm tossing it. He won't. I think he's too cowardly. I think he's too much of a Democrat operative. But that is the truth of the matter. Todd Blanche, the cross-examining Trump lawyer, has just eviscerated Michael Cohen. Well done by him. Okay, EA college football. I want to end with you guys and give you something super positive to think about. EA college football, pretty fantastic. I give immense credit here to the powers that be for finally bringing back EA college football. The Travis boys, not as much me because I don't play video games anymore. I've gotten aged out of the video game universe, but my kids are beyond excited for this game to be out. I believe it comes out in July, and it is going to be an awful lot of fun for a whole new generation, basically, to realize what many of us did, which was this was one of the greatest video games that has ever existed. Building a dynasty, playing with your favorite players. Now having their actual names included is just going to make it so much better. I think it is going to be fantastic. I know many different OutKick universe people are going to be playing this game like crazy. It comes out July 19th. Go ahead and put your orders in. It's going to be basically a national holiday. Okay. I love all of you. My name is Clay Travis. I'll be back on Wednesday. I'm going to be up in D.C. on Monday and Tuesday. I'll be back on Wednesday, do shows Wednesday and Thursday of next week. And then guess what? I'm headed to the beach. That's the plan anyway. So I will be down on the beach for Memorial Day weekend, starting off the summer in style on my beloved 30A beaches. Best beaches in the United States, but we're full. Don't come. And I will be out all that week. So I'll be back with you Wednesday, Thursday. Then we'll not be back until June. This has been OutKick the Show. Appreciate all of you. DBAP, unless you need to SBAP.